Guys, so we're in this draft. It already started. I had the 101. I had Christian McCaffrey. You see some pretty standard names come off the board after that. It kind of puts me in a little bit of a precarious spot because a lot of guys that I do like are no longer on the board. But with this pick, I think I might want to double down, double dip on RB just because some of the wide receivers I don't like too much. Like I wouldn't feel too comfortable with Ayuk as like my wide receiver one. So at that point, let me just kind of load up on RB. Pretty standard here. There's only three real people in this draft. Oh, I have another pick actually. Let me just make that real quick. Yeah, I mean, same logic kind of applies, but I don't know if triple tapping RB is like the best idea. I think this is a situation where I kind of reach. Yeah, I think I reach for Jalen Waddle. Let me just give you my thoughts on why I would do that. So, Jalen Waddle to me, like, even though Tyreek Hill is still like the man and still could be the man, he is 30, I think, or maybe even 31, coming off like his best season ever, or of his career. And Jalen Waddle also took some steps forward, right? So Jalen Waddle also had some big games while Tyreek was injured. And Jalen Waddle like just kind of showed to me that he could be like a bona fide wide receiver one. So I think he could take that next step and could flip Tyreek Hill. And but the risk is, what if he doesn't, right? What if he remains kind of the wide receiver two, right? I still think that he can contend, and he can contend with the production of a guy like Stephon Diggs, who I could have taken there. He could contend with a guy like Ayuk, who I could have taken there, right? Because I think Ayuk, there's just so many more mouths to feed on that team. So that's why I made that pick. And now it is back to my pick. At this point, I'll probably go wide receiver RB, or, depending on who's there, of course. I see immediately that DK and DJ Moore are still there. DJ Moore kind of scares me a little just because of the fact that it's kind of a loaded wide receiver room now. It's, I think, one of the deepest wide receiver rooms in the NFL, to be honest. With Keenan, Adunze, and motherfucking DJ Moore, dude. It's quite the room. Because this is a full PPR, I think I wouldn't take Pacheco. Otherwise, I usually would take Pacheco there, but I think I'm going to go with another wide receiver. And I'm going to go with, this might be crazy to you guys, but I'm going to go with Zay Flowers, dude. I'll give you my thoughts as to why. So, based on ADP, you'd think DJ Moore, but as I mentioned, loaded wide receiver room. I also think that, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen could both kind of trade off weeks of who's productive, while a guy like Zay Flowers, I think, is going to be consistently maybe on par with them every week. He's probably going to be worse than either one. Fuck, how do I even say this? So the weeks that DJ Moore pops will be better than the weeks that Zay Flowers can pop, if that makes sense. But you're just getting more consistency out of Zay Flowers. So I think his blow-up weeks aren't going to be as good as DJ Moore and Keenan's blow-up weeks. But I just think instead of trying to determine who's gonna pop off either week, you just get a guy who's a little bit worse, but he's going to be a little bit worse every week, if that makes sense. That's horrible analysis. I don't know. In my head, it makes a little bit more sense. Looking back at RB, again, as I mentioned, it is a PPR league. So just quickly looking at the roster, it's just one flex. So it's one of those leagues where you probably want to fill out your roster rather than just keep loading up on those two positions. But I will wait on tight end a little bit more, and I will pick up another wide receiver, and it will be Terry McLaurin. Oh, yeah, I got him. Terry McLaurin. Again, Terry McLaurin should be seeing a upgrade at quarterback, and he's like a pretty much a wide receiver two every season, and he's entering his age 28 season. Yeah, age 28 season. It's now or never, right? And I do think he is talented. I still think he can produce. He can do well for the Commanders. And looking at RB, I think I'll just go ahead and take Swift here. Reasons why I took Swift over Montgomery or Aaron Jones. Swift, younger, coming off of a better season than Aaron Jones, obviously because he was healthy most of the season. David Montgomery is going to be in a time split. I do think the Lions already mentioned that they want to get Gibbs even more involved, give him more of the timeshare. So Does that mean some regression in the touchdown department for David Montgomery? Maybe not. Maybe he still could be that touchdown guy, but in terms of like yardage and work, that could reduce. I think DeAndre Swift is just going to be like the bona fide guy for Chicago on a run first team. I just think that's value in the seventh round. Guys like Tony Pollard, you don't really know what his role is going to be with Tajay Spears. I'm not really too sure about that. Who the fuck is H. Brown? Did he change his name? Hollywood. Oh, shit. Is that his legal name now? Let's go. Dude, love it. H. Brown. Hollywood Brown. It's a Meta World Peace, dude. An NFL version of Meta World Peace. So, all right, back to the analysis. I'm not really doing too much, commentary on some of these other picks. Maybe I'll do that at the end. I'll kind of go through round by round and tell you what picks that I liked, which picks I would stay away from. But yeah, looking at my team, it's looking pretty good. I got, a pretty solid stable of running backs, a pretty solid quadruple of wide receivers. I pretty much am going to keep carouseling between those two positions, but I do think I can start to look at tight end. But considering, I just don't know what the difference between Njoku and Pat Freiermuth is going to be. Like, why take Njoku now? Unless you get like a top 4 guy. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take Kyler Murray here. Unfortunately, no stack with Kyler, but I do think he still presents rushing upside as well as a dude who could, it's not like he's one of those only rushing quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, when he plays, is still pretty good, pretty fantastic, actually. Yeah, and I think that the offense should be better. Oh, it's my pick again, dude. I keep fucking that up. Let me go ahead and get another running back just because I think running back will water down. Zamir White, he's going to be a bona fide, workhorse running back. Like in the 9th round, if you can still get these workhorse running backs, you have to do it. I think Javonte Williams is another option there at that pick. But I just think the Raiders have... I think the Raiders have... I don't want to say a more balanced... Yeah, I'm going to say that I think they might have a more balanced offense this season, more than the Broncos. Crazy to say, but I do think, with Devontae Adams still there, yeah, that's pretty much it. They have 2 solid tight ends, I guess, with Mayer and Bowers. Brock Bowers. Is it Brock Bowers or Brock Powers? I always want to say Powers. Yeah, what are we thinking for the next pick? As I mentioned, you do want to kind of fill out your roster, but we already have pretty much. There's just tight end, and as I mentioned, why not take tight end as late as possible? If there's a dude that you like late that you think will match the production of some of the earlier guys, right? So in these really shallow leagues where you're starting how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're only starting 9 players. Usually you'd want to like solidify your starting roster. That's kind of my approach to that. You still want to be RB and wide receiver heavy, obviously, but you want to, solidify. All right, now it's back to my pick. I do have 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. Let me start to take some wide receivers because it is a PPR league. Is there anybody that I see that pops off the page in terms of PPR dominance? I do like me some Jacoby Myers. Do I want to take Myers this early? Damn, I think I'm going to have to go with Tajay Spears. And, oh man, is it Sutton? Nah, I don't know if Sutton can... Damn, this is a tough area to pick, dude. I haven't done a lot of due diligence on most of these guys. McConkey would have been nice if you fell to me there. I think it's gonna have to be J-Mo, dude. Just for a little bit of upside. I feel like I have a decent roster when it comes to like some boom bust and some kind of like solid, possession receivers. I think Waddle, Flowers, and McLaurin are pretty similar. I think Metcalf is kind of that more of a like red zone, traditional X receiver type player. Maybe McLaurin. Yeah, I don't know if McLaurin's gonna be winning many jump balls, but yeah, I do think my team is like, it's these guys that are kind of versatile. They kind of are like the number 1 options on their teams. Hopefully, I think Jameson Williams is like that first guy that I drafted who's like the clear number two, maybe even number three in terms of if you're including like running backs as receiving options. I do think like St. Brown, Laporta, then JMO, or maybe even Gibbs, then JMO. I don't know. That was kind of sloppy, dude. First video of this offseason, man. You could see the rust. You could tell. Chase Brown, that's a solid pick. What am I looking at now? Maybe I start to look toward tight end just to ensure that I get somebody half decent. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Muth. I just don't want to not have him on my next. I mean, this is the last round, so I would have taken him in one of these picks. Let me take another wide receiver. Myers did fall to me. Judy is another interesting one. Judy could be a PPR savior to a lot of people. Or Davis? Oh, man. Let me just get a piece of this Denver offense. I'm going to go with Cortland Sutton. Yeah, why not? Why not get a small piece of it? Let's see if Denver can turn it around. I mean, Sutton was pretty solid last season. And he's away from the team. I quit. Fantasy basketball season. Let's wait for that. Yeah, that's the draft, boys. Let's look at some of these picks. I'm going to minimize this, but you now will not be able to see the bottom right. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these. So, Christian McCaffrey, the 101, you got to do it. I think my clear tier of wide receivers goes as follows after McCaffrey. I think, this is going to be crazy. This is a hot take. But I think my tier personally is Lamb, Jefferson, Tyreek, Chase. No, I'm sorry. Lamb, Jefferson, Chase, Tyreek, A.J. Brown, and then St. Brown. And then it's Bijan. So basically take Brown, put him up here somewhere. I'll give you some reasoning in another video. The reason why I have Tyreek after Chase and after Jefferson is just because of age. It's just, I'm a little bit scared. At what point are they, at what point is he going to get some type of injury, man? The dude is never really injured. Last season he was dealing with a little bit. I don't know. It's just a risk mitigation thing. I think if all factors or if all variables remain equal, I think Tyreek can easily outscore Chase. He can easily outscore fucking Jefferson, dude. Just a better quarterback, better system, better offense. And then it's clearly, Bijan and Brees. Obviously, Brees then Bijan. No problem here with Taylor. I love Gibbs this season. I just love Gibbs in general as a player and kind of see how his role evolves. Stay away from Marvin Harrison and Puka this early. I'm a fan of Puka. I'm a Rams fan, so I love Puka, but I do think that Kupp is still going to be kind of the main guy. He was just dealing with a lot of injuries last season. Stay away from Harrison just because he's a rookie. Listen, if you want to take him at the 2-2, go ahead, but for me, that's just a little too risky, too rich for my taste. Garrett Wilson, love the pick. This turn is fantastic. You go with Wilson and Brown. I think Wilson and Brown both outscored Nakua and Harrison by a lot, by like maybe 5 or 6 spots. So, bold take, I know. I think in the second round, it's kind of brutal. I don't really like many of these players. I don't really like Devontae Adams. I'm fine with Drake London. I think, Kirk Cousins, he could be in that Jefferson role. As I mentioned, I love Waddle. My team is kind of like a bunch of like borderline wide receiver 1-2s, in my opinion. Other than McLaurin, obviously. I think McLaurin's going to be a just wide receiver 2, like bottom half of the wide receiver 2. He's going to finish like the wide receiver 21, with the potential of being in the top 15. So, any other picks? Stay away from Rice. Stay away from Adunze. Dude, just bottom line, man. My takeaways for fantasy in general: stay away from players who are not the bona fide number one option on their team. Stay away from them as long as you can. Obviously, when you get in the later rounds, you start picking those guys. But like Rashee Rice, why would you take Rashee Rice here? That makes no sense. Like, I mean, I think it was AI, so I'm over here fucking roasting roasting a robot. But like, stay away from Adunze. Stay away from Rashi Rice. Stay away from Tank Dell. I know everybody loves Tank Dell and his dynamism. He's dynamic. He's fast. Stroud talks him up all the time. But dude, he's coming off of a bad injury, and Nico is like that prototypical like legit wide receiver one, dude. He's for real. Nico is not fake. It is not fake news. So stay away. Yeah, Neighbors. Even I would take Neighbors over Rushy Rice because Neighbors at least. I mean, the expectation is that he's going to be the bona fide one, right? That those are just my thoughts, man. Like stay away from Higgins, but I guess like at this point you start to take the twos, right? Like I wouldn't take Higgins here. I would take Cooper over Higgins. Obviously, I took McLaurin over Higgins, or I no, I didn't take McLaurin over Higgins, but I'm just kind of off Higgins in general. Anyone else of interest? I mean, I love all my fucking picks, dude. I don't know. My picks are all fantastic, dude. Best picks I've ever seen. No, Jaden Reed, sleeper pick. If he fell to me here, I'd probably take Jaden Reed. I'd probably go Kyler, Jaden Reed, or Zamir, Jaden Reed. I'm just super big on him. He's kind of that Debo Samuel type player. They use him in like swing arounds. They use him short yardage stuff. They use him deep. They use him all over the field. I think Jaden Reed is actually the wide receiver one for the Packers, and it's not Christian Watson. Just my thoughts. I think Deontay Johnson is a decent value. I mean, he's burned me the past like 3 seasons, so I'll probably end up with him in most of my leagues this season again. Yeah. Anything else? Dak Prescott, another late. I mean, Justin Herbert in the 12th round makes no sense to me. It just makes no sense to me. I don't know why Justin Herbert is going after Jordan Love. I don't know why he's going after Purdy. I don't know why he's going after even Stroud. Like, make it make sense, man. I don't know. Anyway, boys, that's the mock. In some future mocks or future videos, we're gonna talk about like late round values. Again, this is like my first mock, so I don't really know what's happening. I don't know who I am. I'm straight Joe Biden out here. I might just DJ Roomba out of this. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you enjoy this. Let me know if it's a little too boring. Give it a subscribe, man. We're gonna be pumping videos all off season. We're gonna get it popping. We're gonna get it flowing. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.